oh, I messed up, you know, I'm never gonna get this right, no one's ever gonna, you know, want to be around me again, no one's gonna ever trust me. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley, and on this channel I like to talk about things relating to lifestyle. For me, lifestyle means you could get a video about decor, you could get a video about a vlog that, you know, on a trip that I took, or you could get a video like this, which is about mindset. So those are the things that speak to me, those are the things that make me excited, those are the things that are part of my lifestyle, so those are the videos I record. So yeah, so I'm glad you're here. I gotta get this out the way because I always forget. So please just pause for a second and give me a thumbs up. I know you hear this in every video, but as a new YouTuber who is really trying to be consistent with this and trying to grow my channel, it really does make a difference. And if you could also help me out, just hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that as well. Okay, so this video is going to be related to mindset. Okay, I've been seeing all these videos going around about how to become that girl, or you know, that girl morning routine, that girl productivity routine, but I have not seen anything talk about mindset or how to be that girl psychologically. And I think that that is a very important part to include as well when you're trying to become on this, when you're trying to go on that girl journey, right? Let me pause for a second in case you guys haven't seen all these videos, but I'm sure you have. But the whole that girl philosophy is a girl that has her stuff together, right? A girl that is productive, that gets things done, a boss, you know, she's just the epitome of what we want to be. So having good routines is key. Yeah, you know, being productive is good, eating well is good, but none of that's going to happen if you're not right up here. If your mindset isn't where it should be, if you are struggling mentally, you're not going to be able to achieve any of these things. And even if you do go ahead and start out and, you know, start putting some action behind some things, it's not going to last because your foundation isn't good. So I just wanted to shoot this video and give you guys my 3 tips to level up psychologically and to become that girl on a psychological mindset level. Alright, so if you're interested in this, stay tuned. So tip number 1 on how to level up psychologically is to improve your self-esteem and to know your self-worth. Okay, we hear these two terms all the time. Sometimes they're used interchangeably, and although they are related, they are slightly different. Okay, so self-esteem has to do with how you feel on the inside, right? And that comes from like accomplishments, interactions with people, things like that, and it tends to fluctuate depending on the circumstances that you're currently dealing with. Your self-worth, though, is more, like, doesn't fluctuate as more. It's more your core values, your core beliefs about yourself. Someone with good self-worth believes that they're a good person and that they deserve good things. So that's really kind of the difference there. They do relate to each other, but the self-esteem tends to fluctuate more depending on situations. The self-worth does not really fluctuate. It kind of stays the same, and it's just your innate core beliefs that you believe you have as a human. Okay, but we want to make sure that we're improving both of these things because not everyone has good self-esteem and self-worth, and there is often room for improvement. So like I said, the self-esteem changes, you know, depending on circumstances. Some people have low self-esteem, and that's because they think low of themselves. They just struggle to believe that they are worthy, which is where the self-worth part comes in. So you improve your self-esteem by being compassionate and being nice to yourself, and most importantly, stop comparing yourself to others. Okay, we're in a day and age where it's really hard to do that because, or hard to not do that because, you know, things are just thrown in our face on social media, right? Every day we see on our feed, you know, celebrities and other girls and other guys, you know, just doing things and living life the way that we aspire to. And it's almost a natural response to compare yourself. But you can see what other people are doing and want that for yourself, but not think badly of yourself while doing that. And I think that's the part that people often that's where it goes wrong. So you don't want to look at, somebody on Instagram and be like, oh, she has it all. Oh, she always has the latest bags. Oh, she's so great. And then in turn saying that, you're feeling like, I suck. I never get to have nothing. I'm never going to have money. I'm never going to live that life. That's when it's a negative, right? But if you're looking at this and you're looking at it more for like motivation, or you're just feeling genuinely happy for that person, and you're seeing yourself being able to get to that point as well, it's a completely different, you're going to get a completely different result, because the mindset is different there. Instead of looking at it as woe is me, you're looking at, ooh, sis is doing well, but I'm about to be doing well too. So you're seeing yourself still on the same playing field as this person, and that's the difference, and that's where you're being beneficial to yourself, versus when you're comparing and seeing yourself as less than, you're not. So that's how you improve your self-esteem. Start by being more compassionate and nice to yourself, and stop comparing yourself to others. Now, to improve your self-worth, you have to believe that you are worthy of good things, that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of respect. And that just comes by seeing yourself as a human. Okay? So if you struggle with this, if you feel like, sometimes you feel like you don't deserve good things, look at yourself as just a plain human. Do you think that humans deserve love and respect? Do you think that they deserve a chance? And if your answer is yes to that, then feed off of that. Put yourself in that category. You are a human. You deserve good things. You deserve love. You deserve respect. Regardless of what mistakes you may have made in the past, those mistakes aren't your future. Or at least they don't have to be. But if you don't see yourself as worthy, then they will become your future, because you will continue to put yourself in situations where you can be hurt because you don't believe that you deserve anything better. So again, it comes all back to mindset. If you believe you deserve good things, you will get good things. And this is why this is why visualization is so big, and people talk about it all the time. And I know it kind of seems like out there, but it truly is a thing where if you believe you are worthy, you will then start carrying yourself that way, and then you will find yourself in situations where good things can happen to you, because otherwise you wouldn't have been in those situations, because you would have never felt confident enough to be in a situation where those things can happen. So it's really a trickle down effect. But it does start with your own mindset. So just see yourself as a human, and as a human, you have rights, and you deserve good things, and you deserve love, and you deserve respect, and to be happy. And that is worthiness. So that's where the self-worth comes from. Okay, so tip number 2 on how to level up psychologically is to stop negative thinking. Okay? Negative thinking. All right, so I was trying to think how to break this down, and there's like 4 main different ways that, or 4 main different categories of negative thinking. Okay, so the first one is personalized. So you blame yourself for everything that goes wrong. Okay, and as I'm going through these, I want you to see if you find yourself in any of these categories. And if you do, just pay attention to that. Here are the tips I'm going to give you at the end, and then maybe do some more research so that you can, start working on not being that way as much. And kind of, since I'm on this caveat, I do want to kind of just say that thinking and mindset is something that takes time to change, right? You naturally already think the way you do due to your circumstances, experiences. You currently operate and think the way you do, and that's just that. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You can change your mindset. You can change the way you think, but it takes time. So it's like developing a new habit. You're not going to get there overnight, but watching videos like this and then implementing things, right? Putting things into practice and then continuing to do it, sticking to it, and then noticing, what you're doing and, where you still have room to improve, and then deciding to improve in those moments that come up is how you change. Okay, so it is possible, but I do want to just let you know it takes time, it takes effort, and you got to put in the work. So I want you guys to really hear these different categories I'm about to give you, and then really have an honest, reflective moment with yourself and see if you fall into one of these categories. Okay, so the first one is personalizing. That's when you blame yourself for everything that's going on, everything that's going wrong. Okay, You walk outside and, I don't know, a branch is on your car and you're like, oh, that's my fault. You know, I should have known that a branch was going to fall. I can't believe I didn't think about that. I can't believe I allowed that to happen. No, there was no way for you to know that that specific branch was going to fall and land on your car. So that's personalizing, okay? You just see yourself as the reason and cause of everything negative, okay? Magnifying is the second option, or second category of negative thinking. And magnifying is when you only see the negative in a situation and completely, you know, overlook or ignore the positive. So let's say you planned a party for your friend and invited 100 people and only 50 came. So you focus on that, like, oh, I really, you know, I planned for 100 people, I set up for 100 people and only 50 came, and you're so mad and irate because, you know, everybody didn't show up. But you're ignoring the fact that the 50 people that did show up had a good time. You're ignoring the fact that the person you planned the party for had a bomb time, the best time ever, was super excited and appreciative. You are completely ignoring any of the positives in the situation and only focusing and talking about the negative, which then makes it hard for them to then enjoy the moment with you because you're being negative Nancy. That's magnifying. Okay, the third one is, I always struggle to say this, catastrophizing. Catastrophizing. Y'all see the word, okay? But catastrophizing. That is when you expect the worst and struggle to let reason or even logic, you know, help you see otherwise. So an example of this is you feel like things are just always going to go wrong. You know, no matter what, something's going to go wrong. Even if you know that, like, even if you've been in the same situation and it didn't go wrong before, you consider that like a fluke, and you're like, yeah, that didn't happen then, but it's gonna happen now. That's catastrophizing, okay? Just not even being open to reason or logic, you know, and just ignoring that and expecting it to still be horribly wrong. Some more specific examples of this is, let's say you have a surgery you have to go into, and it could be a minor one. Let's say, you know, you had de Quervain syndrome or carpal tunnel, and they're going into like release the tendon. If you are a person that thinks this way, you are thinking like, if I don't recover from this procedure, I'll be disabled for the rest of my life, and I'll never be able to travel or work again, and I will be bedbound, and they're gonna have to take care of me forever. When you're only going in for surgery to release a tendon in your thumb that, you know, has a really high success rate, and even if it's not successful, it's not going to damage anything else. So that's an example of that thinking. You just see the worst and you go literally from 0 to 100 of how horrible things can be, and you're just stuck at that 100. Okay? And the last way of thinking, the last category I should say in negative thinking, is polarizing. So with polarizing, you see the world as black or white, good or bad, and you don't really see anything in between. So it's a very rigid way of thinking. It means you're not flexible, you don't go with the flow. And that makes it difficult for you to then progress positively in life, because you feel like if anything is outside of the way you know it to be, the good or bad, the black or white, it's horribly wrong. So you can't see yourself doing anything else. You can't even envision you trying these new things, because it doesn't fit into these two boxes that you know exist neatly. So an example of that can be like a person who thinks they have to always be number one, right? Or you always have to win. Like, let's say you're really competitive, you feel like you always have to win. So you're playing a card game with a group of friends, and let's say you lose. Well, that's like the end of the world. Even though the whole point was just to have fun and bond, like, you just can't be okay with the fact that you lost. Like, you, I guess, consider your self-worth based on your ability to win things. and it's an all or nothing kind of attitude. So since you didn't win, let's say even if you won, let's say y'all played 3 rounds and you won 2, you lost that one, and that's it. Like you are upset, you are frustrated, you don't even want to be around no one. And in hindsight, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, nobody else cares, nobody else is really, you know, using this to assess your value, but you are. So that rigid way of thinking, that not able to be in the gray area or be flexible, is really damaging. If you did find yourself in one of those categories, don't be scared, don't be alarmed. Again, like I said a little while ago, you can change it, right? It just takes time and it takes effort. So if you see this and you don't want to be that way, then great, that's an amazing start, sis. Let's go on and get to these tips on how to improve. So if you are somebody that operates in negative thinking, you want to start putting rude. If you are someone that operates in any of these categories of negative thinking, you want to start changing that. And the quickest way to start changing that is to, let's just go right into tip number 3, which is to use positive self-talk. All right, positive self-talk is amazing. It's a great way to just level up psychologically, and it's also a great way to combat negative thinking. All right, so let me give you what positive self-talk is. So positive self-talk is exactly what it sounds like. It's speaking about yourself in a positive way, right? It's speaking to yourself kindly, compassionately. It's your optimistic self, right? That's the best way I could probably describe it. You know, sometimes, you know, people talk about the angel and the devil. Well, sometimes I like to think about it as the optimistic and the pessimistic. Okay, so it's your optimistic self. It's the one, it's a part of you that sees the good, right? That sees the positive, that sees the potential for growth, that is open-minded. That's the side, and that's what you want to tap into when you're doing positive self-talk. And it's important to speak to yourself in a positive and kind way, because that's how you build on your self-esteem and your self-worth. So all of this comes back like full circle. A lot of times it's easier for people to talk positively about other people more than it is to talk about yourself. And that's a problem. That means you're seeing other people at a higher level of worthiness than you're seeing yourself. And if that's the case, you're not going to accomplish anything, because you're just not going to see yourself as being worthy. So positive self-talk is very, very important. It starts by acknowledging that you're a human, and humans make mistakes. Humans don't do everything right. Humans don't always get it right. Okay, so you know that. So you know that you fall into that category. So you give yourself grace. You make a mistake, and a negative way of thinking could be, oh, I messed up. You know, I'm never gonna get this right. No one's ever gonna, you know, want to be around me again. No one's gonna ever trust me. Or instead of thinking like that, you can be like, okay, I made a mistake. I know where I went wrong. I won't do that again in the future. So that's just being slightly optimistic, but it's also acknowledging what you did. It's okay to acknowledge where you went wrong, but then you want to grow from that, right? You want to give yourself the space to do better. That's really it. And if you hold on, I lost my train of thought. But essentially what I'm saying is, you have to give yourself grace and give yourself time to actually do better. All right, that's part of what positive self-talk does. It's opening up the chance and the opportunity for you to try again, to try to improve, okay? So let's go through some examples. So a situation happens, you know, I kind of already gave you one, but, you know, instead of, you know, let me think of an actual specific example. Let's say you were in school and you failed a test. So, you know, you can catastrophize and be like, I failed this test, I'm going to fail this class, I'm going to end up failing all my classes, I'm going to drop out of school, I'm going to end up homeless because I won't be able to work, no one's going to ever want to be around me, right? Or you can instead try to think more positively and invoke positive self-talk, and you can say to yourself, okay, I failed this test. I knew there was a good chance that was going to happen because I didn't study as much as I should have. You know, I crammed, I only studied for the test. You know, for 2 hours, I really should have given myself, you know, at least 2 days to really go over the material. All right, I'll do better next time because I'll make sure that I give myself enough time to study for this exam. Could you see how your feelings will be completely different if you think option A, what I gave you, versus if you think in option B? Like, do you see how just that alone, those words that you're saying to yourself, how much value that holds and how that can make it so that you completely think and feel differently about yourself? I know you guys saw that. And that's really all it is. It's about talking to yourself in a way that's kind so that you are still motivated and desire to continue doing things, to continue trying, to continue living. And that's real. So I just invite you guys, encourage you guys to all just start talking to yourself more positively. It's not always that major, that deep, right? Sometimes it's just, we mess something up quickly. It's like, oh, I'm so stupid. Or like, oh, I'm such an F up. Like things like that. That's not positive self-talk. Like, you truly start to believe the words that you say to yourself. So, just start noticing little things like that throughout the day. And if you hear yourself speaking about yourself negatively, just go ahead and make it positive. So, I always mess up. No, okay, I messed up on that, but, that doesn't mean I'm always going to mess up forever, or I mess up on that, but the thing I did, 20 minutes ago, I got right. So just start doing that and just notice the difference in your mindset and the way you're feeling and thinking about yourself, and just pay attention to that. Another tip for positive self-talk is to stop, this is kind of the comparing yourself part, but it's, again, if you see somebody doing something and living a life that you want, just say that to yourself. Say like, that's the life I want for myself, and I'm taking the steps to get there. Affirmations are really helpful with this too. Just speaking positively about yourself, speaking love into yourself, just speaking your goals, and speaking as if you will achieve those goals. All those things help with your positive self-talk and how you feel about yourself, which then, like I said before, it comes back to your self-esteem and self-worth. So I said a lot. I hope you guys really, got something out of this video. But ultimately, in order to level up psychologically or to become that girl on a mental level, you have to do the work for yourself. You have to make sure that you are being kind and compassionate to yourself. You have to make sure that you're speaking positively to yourself, that you're not, focusing on a negative voice in your head, and that you are taking the time to actually cultivate your self-esteem and your self-worth, because that really is at the core of everything that you're going to do. So if you guys like this video, let me know down below what was your favorite part. Let me know if you learned something about yourself that you never knew before. I'm curious, and I would love to continue this conversation down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.